Hi everyone, welcome on another episode on Lenses with Sika. Actually, it has been a long time, really, actually, it has. So, on today's episode, I'll be taking you guys on how to make this twist in your clothes, whether a top or a gown. That is what I'm gonna teach you guys. So, these are the materials that are needed. Actually, the thread and the needle is not needed because during the course of the video I had no sewing machine with me, so I had to use the thread and the needle and the pencil. I had no chalk with me, so you just need the material, your tape, your chalk. Now what you have to do first and foremost is to fold the fabric into four, like where you're trying to make your dress. Normally you fold it into four, and I had to take my measurement because I was viewing it to put a singlet hand. So if it's with shoulder, you take your normal measurement. I had to remove 5 inches to mark out my underbust. Okay, so the 5 inches was just for an off shoulder or singlet hand, so I had to take my measurements down on the bust. So I added 1 inch for allowance, so for sewing allowance, so it was 14, and what I took for my front frame was 5, which is 10. So it differs depending on your own frame. So in this video I was making use of my body measurement. So for my bust I took 8.5 and added 1.5 inch of allowance, and right at my underbust I took a measurement 7, which is 28, and I added 1.5 inch and an extra inch again of like 2 inches for the twists, more of the allowance after the twist. So after that I had to trace it out. Please don't mind my pencil. This video is a bit informal, but I will try my best to teach you guys. It's well detailed, okay? So after tracing it with your chalk, your tailor chalk, not a pencil, okay? So I traced and then cut out. After cutting this out, you have a two-piece, like your back and front. So after taking my time to trace and I'm cutting it out, the next I had to do is to, please take note that I used what can I call it, a thread and a needle instead of a sewing machine. So when you get to where I was using my thread and needle, please use your sewing machine. And if it's your first time, please do well to subscribe and hit on the notification bell to keep updates to our videos. So I had to take one part of the place I cut out, that's one part of it, to mark out where I want how deep I want my curve to be in front. So I had to go in by 7 inches, 2 inches. You can see I marked 7 and then came and notched the middle for me to know where the middle is and carefully place to trace the depth at which I want it to be. So I just went in by 2 inches, which is 7, and carefully traced it. I was trying to make a curve, so though it wasn't too accurate, but I was just trying to make a curve. This is just like where you have your wrap round. So instead of making it a straight right angle, you just try to make a sweet curve with it. So after tracing it carefully, I cut the unwanted. I just had to cut, follow the curve and cut, remove the unwanted place, and then took the place I had to make it off. This is very, very simple. It's not much work to do. So if you're actually trying to use you're trying to make that type of gown that I displayed, the singlet hand, after you've cut it out, you can pipe, or you put your hand to fence it, hem it, whichever way you wish to put your singlet hand. So you have to put the hand before you pipe or you fence it. So after trying so much to after explaining the way I was trying to go further to, I had to go further to trace out the first one that I marked on the other side. Mark, please take note of that. For the two piece as it is just for the front, so you have to cut another for the back later and the down part if you want to make a gown or a top. So what I just majorly had to teach here is just for the twist. Okay, so after tracing out for the other parts of it, you fold one part, usually the right side. So whichever way you want to twist it, so you have to fold one side just like this and mark a notch like 0.8 or 0.5 depending. It doesn't have to be too big or too small. It should be that after you have sealed those places as it's being folded, that you can put your hand through the space you provided, which is 0.8 as I used. So after that, this area which is facing the folded side will be sewn to stop at that place you nudged, creating that hole of 0.8. So you see that I had to nudge the place I want to stop stop sewing in order to create an incision. So after that, you have to go to your own machine, your sewing machine, to sew it. So in my own case, I had to use a needle and a thread. Well, whichever way, it was fun. So I believe with a sewing machine it will give a very better result, just that I had none with me at the course of the video. So after sewing the areas that I needed to close up and stitch it, I had to cut my stuff then as a sewn, so it's not so neat. So whatever way, you can see that my finger can pass through that small hole I made, 0.8 inches. So providing that hole, I had to carefully insert just as seen. Look at how I placed it in. I had to use the other side, the other parts, follow the top to pass through that incision, that hole that I created to make the twist. Please know that this style can be done in two ways. This is the first way if you don't want to twist it twice. So with this pattern, you can only twist it once. You can just only go through to make the twist once. So after passing it through, I had to carefully place it front against front to stitch it just as seen. I had to stitch it, trying so much not to allow any space very close to where the twist is. So after stitching it, you have your twist. You can go further to cut your half length and the remaining areas you want to do the remaining half length, stitch it, and voila, that's it. Very, very simple. In a split of seconds and you're done with it. So after stitching that, this is the result that we had. Yeah, that's for the first side. So for the course of the video, I had to do two pattern. So should in case that you want to make a double twist, you want to make your twist to be really seen whichever way, either once or twice. So the first one I did was for the one twist to be twisted once, and this one is to make it a double twist. So in this one I had to still cut it the same way just as we did it earlier, but I added 4 inches longer. I added 4 inches to the width in order to still have my allowance after twisting it twice. So you can see I had to place the old one to show the difference of inches I added. So after that, you just have to place it opposite sides just as it is, and carefully turn it. You can see I was trying to indicate that you can go ahead to put your hand, hem, pipe, or fence your clothes. So you can see I had to carefully twist once, and that was the second one, and to carefully place it front against front. After twisting it, try to make your adjustments properly in this case before you pin and stitch it. So that's how you have your twist. And please take note that making a twist on a wear should be with a stretchy material, whether a crepe or a poly material, or either a duchess material. So whatever material you can use that is stretchy would be very good, or to make a twist design, to give you a proper design. So this is the outcome. Sorry it was not too neat because I had to use my needle and thread, so I believe it's been way better with your sewing machine. So if you have any confusion or questions, you can drop it down and ask. I'll be always available to reach out to you. So with this, there's the 2 way you can make a twist on a dress, and that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.